Today, we're going to unpack a kind of cyber threat that's, well, a little different. See, we're not talking about those loud, flashy ransomware attacks you see on the news. This is something quieter. It's patient, and honestly, it's a potentially much bigger deal. It's a silent heist that's happening right now, targeting secrets that are supposed to last for decades.
So let me just start by asking you this. What if someone was stealing massive amounts of your most important encrypted data? I'm talking company secrets, national security info, even your personal health records, and they knew they couldn't read it today, but they were also absolutely certain that one day they could? That's the crazy idea we're diving into.
And this strategy, it's got a name. It's called Harvest Now, Decrypt Later, or HNDL for short. The whole idea is to completely separate the act of stealing the data from the act of using it. You know, the break-in happens today, but the real damage, that might not show up for years, maybe even a decade from now. Okay, so let's get into how this whole thing actually works.
We're calling this first part the silent data heist, and for good reason. Unlike your typical data breach, this one, well, it leaves no immediate clues that anything's even wrong.
Okay, so you can really think about this attack in three simple stages. First, the attackers just harvest enormous amounts of encrypted data. Then they just store it for a long time. And finally, when they get their hands on the right tool, they decrypt everything they've collected. It's a long game, right? It's played by very patient and very well-funded players, like nation-states.
So how in the world do they even get all this data? Well, there are a few main ways. They can literally tap into the physical backbone of the internet, you know, those massive undersea cables that carry all our global traffic. Or they can use more traditional hacking to break into a network and just steal entire encrypted databases. They can even compromise things like VPNs to just siphon off traffic as it goes by. The key thing to remember here is they don't have to break the encryption at this stage. They just have to copy.
And after that harvest, all that stolen data goes into phase 2, storage. It sits in what people in the industry call cryogenic stasis, just piling up in these gigantic data centers. It's just encrypted noise, really. Warehoused for years, waiting for the one thing that can finally unlock it all. And this is exactly why HNDL is so sneaky. This whole storage phase is almost completely invisible. You'd never know it's happening.
So what is this future key? What's the magic wand that makes this whole heist possible? Well, that brings us to the second part of our story, the weapon itself.
And that weapon is a quantum computer. Now, the difference between these machines is just mind-bending. Think of it like this. A classical computer is like trying to find the right key on a giant keychain by trying every single one by one. It could take forever. A quantum computer, though, because it uses weird quantum properties like superposition, can somehow explore millions of possibilities all at the same time. For certain kinds of problems, this isn't just a little bit faster, it's a whole new paradigm.
And it just so happens that one of those problems is the exact math that protects our entire digital world. See, back in 1994, a mathematician named Peter Shor came up with a quantum algorithm, and the implications are staggering. A quantum computer running Shor's algorithm won't just weaken the encryption we use every day, things like RSA and ECC, it will shatter them utterly. A problem that would take a supercomputer millions of years becomes solvable in just a few hours.
Now, we need to be a little specific here, because this part's really important. The immediate crisis is with what we call asymmetric keys. These are the ones we use to set up a secure connection and exchange the actual encryption keys. Shor's algorithm just obliterates those. The data itself is usually locked down with a different kind, a symmetric key, like AES-256. And while another quantum algorithm can weaken AES, it doesn't totally break it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Because if an attacker can break that initial key exchange, they can just steal the AES key and unlock all the data anyway. Game over.
And all of this, it brings us to the ticking time bomb. Because this isn't some theoretical far-off risk. For data that needs to stay secret for a long time, the clock has already started ticking.
There's actually a super simple formula created by cryptographer Michel Mosca that helps you figure out if you're already in trouble. It's just x plus y is greater than z. Simple, right? Okay, so what on earth do these letters mean? All right, so X is the shelf life of your data. How long does it absolutely have to stay secret? Think 50 years for state secrets or your own genetic code. Y is your migration time. How long would it actually take your company to switch over to new quantum-safe encryption? And Z? That's the big one. That's the number of years until a powerful quantum computer shows up, an event people are calling Q-Day. So let's just run through a few examples using some pretty reasonable numbers. Let's say it takes 5 years to migrate, and Q-Day is 15 years away.
Well, for a financial transaction that you only need to keep secret for a year, you're fine. 1 plus 5 is 6, and that's less than 15. No problem. But what about the design for a new car that needs to be secret for 10 years? Well, 10 plus 7 is 17, and that is greater than 15. You're already at high risk. And what about medical records that need to stay private for 50 years? Well, you are in a state of critical risk right now. Any of that data being sent today is totally vulnerable to being decrypted in the future.
So, the problem is pretty clear, and yeah, that clock is ticking. But it's not all doom and gloom. This brings us to the solution, the global race to build what you could call a quantum shield.
The good news is, the smartest people in the world are on this. Cryptographers everywhere are in a race to develop and standardize a whole new set of encryption algorithms that are tough enough to resist attacks from both classical and quantum computers. And this whole field is called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. And this isn't just theory anymore. This is real. Just this past August, in 2024, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, that's NIST, they finalized the very first set of PQC standards after years of competition. So these algorithms, with their cool names like Kyber and dilithium, are now the official, ready-to-go replacements for the vulnerable ones we use today.
But look, you can't just flip a switch and upgrade the entire internet overnight. That's going to take time. So what can organizations do right now to protect themselves from these H&D attacks? Well, the answer is a really clever strategy, kind of like a belt and suspenders approach. It's called hybrid key exchange.
It's actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. Here's how it works. When you're making a secure connection, you create two separate keys. The first one uses a trusted, classical algorithm we already use. The second one uses one of these new PQC algorithms, like Kyber. Then, you just combine them both to make the final key. What this means is an attacker has to break both the old math and the new math to get in. It gives you security against today's hackers and tomorrow's quantum hackers all at the same time.
And that brings us to our final section, the race against time. The shield is being built, for sure, but the sword is also being forged.
And governments are absolutely not taking this threat lightly. Just look at this timeline for U.S. national security systems. It shows you just how seriously this is being taken. These deadlines are really aggressive. By 2027, that's just around the corner, any new sensitive systems the government buys must be quantum safe. The clock is officially ticking for the entire tech industry.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, defending against harvest now, decrypt later isn't just about fancy new math. A lot of it is just good security fundamentals. It means building systems that are crypto-agile so you can easily swap in new algorithms later. It means practicing data minimization. I mean, if you don't need the data anymore, get rid of it so it can't be stolen. And it means pushing your technology vendors to tell you what their plan is for becoming quantum safe.
Which really just leaves us with one final massive question. We know this silent heist is happening right now. Our most valuable secrets are being copied and stored away, just waiting for Q-Day. The global community is racing to build the shield. The only question left is, will we get it deployed everywhere before that quantum sword is finally forged?